All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to another very special episode of Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you could all join me here today on this very, very special day, regardless of where you are at. It is Christmas Day. It is Thursday, December 25th, 2025. Yes. The day of the birth of Christ. And I've got a little bit of time here before I head on over to dinner with the family. Dawn and I, my girlfriend Dawn and I are going to have dinner with my family for Christmas. We spent Thanksgiving with her family. But I figured I would get in this very important stream before that because there's a lot of record correcting to do and a lot of things to put out there. But before we get to all of that, as always, first of all, let me make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Let me check out the back end of YouTube and make sure it is rolling well, and it looks like it is. Let me also make sure that the YouTube notification has gone out, and it looks like it did. Let me do a sound check. This day, it is Thursday, December 25th, 2025. Yes, the day of the birth of Christ. And I've got a little bit of time here before I head on over to dinner with the family. Dawn and I, my girlfriend Dawn and I are going to have. All right, all is rolling well. Welcome one, welcome all. Merry Christmas to everyone once again. Hopefully you're spending some great time today with your family and possibly some friends and other loved ones. And if not, if you're too far apart, hopefully you talked by phone or video chat or in some capacity. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, my lovely lady Dawn's in the house first. Merry Christmas, everyone, she says in the chat. Thank you, babe. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Let's get right to it because there's a lot to go over, and I've got about an hour and 20 minutes to an hour and a half max. I'll take a brief break in between. The topic of today's stream is my civil case leaves gaps for the defendant. So now we're also going to federal copyright court one more time. The topic of today's stream is my civil case leaves gaps for the defendant. So now we're also going to federal copyright court. This is the first time that I'm making this announcement. I have been considering this for quite some time. ODN TV's in the house. Merry Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas to you as well. If you are here live, just remember there is a 1-minute delay between what I say and what goes out. So bear with me. I'll get back to as many chat messages as possible. But this is the first time I'm announcing this today, and ODN is going to be quite shocked in a good way. I have decided that I'm going to be filing a second lawsuit against the same YouTuber that I am currently in a circuit civil case. And the reason is because there's a gap. The gap is copyright law. And in a civil case, in a full-blown civil case, and in Florida, they call it a circuit civil case. Here in California, where I live, they call it a civil unlimited case. Angels Asylum's in the house. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to you as well. These civil cases pretty much cover all civil matters with the exception of copyright law. And the jurisdiction for copyright law is in federal court. Federal court has jurisdiction over copyright law. Now, there are other options. There's the CCB, known as the Copyright Claims Board, which is an alternative to suing someone in federal copyright court. the problem with the CCB is they give the option for the respondent, aka the defendant, to opt out. And typically most people opt out of the Copyright Claims Board. So there really is no reason to, I mean, some people might go through it, but in my opinion, there really is no reason to sue someone in the Copyright Claims Board, especially when they don't really understand copyright law. I'll get to that in just a little bit, and they're just going to opt out anyway, right? Plus, in the Copyright Claims Board, there is no jurisdiction for the board to allow injunctive relief, also known as a protective order. Wow, you're spamming my chat, Angel. ODN, Tia, Eli, GLM. It's all good. It's all good, Angel. No big deal. We love you. We love everyone, right? So I took a bunch of notes because I have a lot to go over regarding when is this case going to happen? How serious am I about it? 100%. I'm also going to be discussing what happened on the defendant's stream last night, where he rebroadcasted pretty much my entire Walking with Purpose stream as I was live. And him doing that pretty much is what finally pushed me over the edge, set me over the edge to actually file a copyright lawsuit on him as well, and to go directly into federal court, which he cannot opt out of. So I've got some notes here. I'm going to be paraphrasing a lot of the stuff. So I basically talked about, well, let me get into a little more details regarding what's going to happen here. So this federal copyright case against the current defendant in my circuit civil case is not going to be filed for around 3 to 4 months. There's a reason for that, because I need to file with the United States Library of Congress. I need to file a few copyright certificates. Now, those take about 3 months on average to get approved. And I either need to file and get it approved, which I always do. It's my content, so they'll copyright it. Or even if it gets denied, whether it gets approved or denied, I have to wait for them to decide. Until that point, which takes around, on average, 3 months or so, maybe sometimes 4 months, I can't sue in federal copyright court. Now, here's the thing. And as we get into this here, you're going to see a little bit more regarding what I'm talking about. But I will be suing for injunctive relief. I'm not going to be suing for statutory damages. I cannot sue for statutory damages because, the streams that the defendant has done, where he's basically creating what's called a watch party. We're going to get more into that. Those were done before I, am about to file these copyrights, and the content was used by the defendant before that time. In order to have statutory damages, in order to be able to sue for statutory damages, you have to file for the copyright before the content is used. If you file afterwards, after someone uses your content, if you want to file a federal copyright case, you're not entitled to statutory damages. You're still entitled to loss of income, lost revenue. But I'm not suing for that because, first of all, it's very hard to prove. Plus, the defendant is going to try to, if I did that, he would basically subpoena my financials, and I'm not going to give him any reason to do that, because him and other people in his group, they would love to get my financials and then try to blast them out publicly, which right then and there, that would just get him sued again anyways. But so you can sue for injunctive relief. And that's what I'm going to be suing for. I'm not going to be suing for any monetary damages. It's going to be a protective order to get the defendant to stop creating watch parties, commercially monetizing them. This is not about freedom of speech. He can talk about me all he wants. He seems to have a massive confusion regarding what's copyright infringement, and what's fair use and what's protected speech and what's not. See, copyright versus speech are two totally different things. And we're going to get into this here in a second because the defendant made a community posting this morning on Christmas Day regarding his thoughts about copyright versus speech. And I think he knows better than this. And he's just trying to spin this narrative to his audience to make me look bad. But maybe he doesn't know the difference. That's a possibility. I doubt it. I think this is all for YouTube theatrics, but we're going to clear the record here on that in just a second. But yes, so I'm going to be filing for, all I have to do is file one copyright certificate on one watch party stream. And then the rest of them I can use as evidence to further solidify injunctive relief. Now, why am I putting this out there and not just surprising him with a new lawsuit? Because I am also, once again, giving him an opportunity to basically back off, to basically stop abusing my copyright. I'm not telling him to stop, talking about me. He can talk about me all he wants. I'm going to talk about him here on my stream. I'm not going to use any of his content, and I'm just going to speak facts or opinions. Anything stated as an opinion will be stated as an opinion. Anything that's an opinion will be stated as an opinion. Anything that's a fact, I'll say it's a fact. I'm not using any of his content. I'm not defaming him. I'm not harassing him. I'm just sharing exactly what's going on. But I'm putting this out there because I want to give him the opportunity to de-escalate. I don't think it's going to happen, especially after what I saw on his live stream last night, which we're going to get to that after we respond to his community posting here in a second. I think he's going to continue to amp it up, and that's just going to give me more evidence, not only for the circuit civil case, but now for the copyright case. Okay. Also, to make it very clear that I do not, you can look it up, the federal law for copyright. You do not need to file a DMCA copyright takedown to be able to sue someone in federal court. You can just sue them directly. As long as you have the evidence, that's all that matters. So I don't need to file a copyright takedown. And a lot of these watch parties that he does, remember that phrase, watch party. This is going to be very, very important as we continue on through this stream. Okay. When he does these watch parties, he'll typically now delete them from YouTube and basically leave them up on Rumble. He simulcasts to Rumble. He'll leave them up on Rumble, but that's still copyright infringement. And still doing these watch parties while they're live on YouTube, that's still copyright infringement. And I'll explain why here in just a second. Let me get the chat here. Angel says, respectfully, maturely, professionally, Don says, hey, Rustic, Merry Christmas. Hope you have hope you have a day of feeling high. Oh, wonderful. Angels Asylum, it's been a wonderful day. We are getting ready to go to family's house for Christmas dinner. Wonderful. ODN TV. Merry Christmas, GLM, Eli, Don, Angel, and Tia. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. Angel and ODN, and Don again. Angels Asylum, I hope your day has been blessed as well, Don. Angel says, you got us all with one comment. Smart guy. She's saying that to ODN. Okay. All right, let's continue. So yeah, this copyright case is going to happen. I'm going to file it in about 3 to 4 months as soon as my copyright certificate gets approved. I do hope that the defendant, at least tries to de-escalate. That's going to be, if he doesn't, that's going to be used further against him, like I said, in both cases. But these watch parties, the bottom line is that you cannot sit there and rebroadcast someone's live stream as it's happening live in its entirety. Even if you're doing commentary the entire way through, the amount in use is a lot. The effect on the marketplace is a lot. It's also a replacement for the people that are watching it on his watch party. It's also a replacement of the original. He's taking viewers away from my original, and he's also commercially monetizing it, and he's actively showing that on his screen through his watch party, and he's even talking about it. But let's now go into his latest community posting, and this is what this guy, I'm going to paraphrase the stuff he said, and then I'll share. I ran this through ChatGPT. But I tell ChatGPT exactly what I want, and I refine it. So this is practically in my own words. Here's what's really going on in that posting and thread in the parts that matter legally, strategically, and judge optics without rehashing anything you already know. Okay. The core rhetorical move, copyright versus speech, false framing. He's falsely framing this for his audience. Unless he actually believes that, copyright and fair use intertwine with each other, right? They don't. They absolutely do not. And we're going to explain why. So the defendant is trying to collapse two different questions into one. Question one. Is the use infringing exclusive rights plus fair use defense? All right. So these are two different questions regarding two different causes of action, right? One is copyright and one is anti-SLAPP or defamation and stuff like that, right? One is in a federal district court. One is in a state court. In a state full-blown civil case, right? So they're two different things, okay? So is the use infringing exclusive rights plus fair use defense? Question two, is the speech protected from government punishment? First Amendment, right? Is the speech protected from government punishment? First Amendment. Let me see here. Let's see. Angel says, Eli, can they get your financials? I think it only be... No, I'm not suing him through the GNA. I'm suing him as Elias Dimitri Melas. If I were to sue him through the GNA, I would have to get an attorney because you cannot sue someone pro se from your LLC, even if you're a single member LLC. This is going to be an individual case, just like the circuit civil case. I can't afford an attorney. And plus, I own the copyrights. I can give the GNA, copyright authority, but I own the copyright, okay? I own the copyright. It's my material. I make the material. You can see my name right here, Elias Eli Melas, GNA president and founder. But this is my work. I own it. Elias Dimitri Melas owns it. They cannot subpoena my financials unless I seek monetary damages. I am only seeking injunctive protective relief to hold the defendant accountable from using large portions of my content. Now, he can do fair use in a pre-recorded video or even in a live stream. He can basically use a few minutes of one of my clips every now and then, or whenever he wants. He can do small, but if he makes the majority of his show a watch party about me. That's basically an entire event around commercially monetizing my name and likeness. And that does not fall under fair use. And she said, oh, okay, 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. Okay. So, give me a second. Yeah, he's rebroadcasting me again, and I'm just taking my screenshots. Give me a second. Yep, this is going to be great for federal copyright court. It's just giving me more and more and more evidence. On Christmas Day, this guy was waiting for me to go live, and instead of spending time with his family, he's doing this. Wow. I should just go right now and file a DMCA copyright takedown while he's live and basically take him down for 7 days, right? I'm not going to do that. You better preserve the evidence, sir. Keep it up on Rumble. You better preserve the evidence, because if not, then it will be subpoenaed. Let me just get a few more screenshots here on my phone. Wow, these people just don't de-escalate. This is going to be perfect evidence for federal copyright court. I did not want to be the Grinch this year, ma'am. And you know what? You used to be on the right side of things, and it's not cool that you know what the right things are, ma'am, and you know who you are. I'm not going to mention you, and it's not a big deal. But you even used to tell me in the past exactly what they were doing to me. Now you've joined them, which is just, you have the right to join whoever you want, but I don't even know what you believe in. You used to believe in the right thing, and now it's like whatever is against Eli is against Eli, right? It's okay. I'm just getting my screenshots. No, ma'am, the lawsuit did not ruin the family finances. My dad still won that case. Okay. But at the end of the day, he still came out ahead. It's just the attorneys take a lot of money. That's why I'm representing myself pro se. Okay. My dad didn't do that back then. He had that option. He didn't do that. And no, ma'am, my dad was not out of work for 6 years while that was happening. He did take some time off, but not 6 years. If you're going to spin a story about what's going on, can you at least be truthful about it? Wow, these people are really, really unbelievably triggered. Let me see here. Give me a second here. Just give me a second. My fair use response to federal copyright legal action. And this is going to be used against you in court, sir. You're actually rebroadcasting the Rumble. You're not allowed to have a watch party to do a response like this. You're taking away from my original. This is my original. I'm not using any of your content. And I'm putting this on the record because this will go to the judge in the copyright case. Now, let me do one more thing here real quick. What I want to do is I want to start to screen record this. More and more evidence. Let's go ahead and flip through the chat here slowly. What happened? Did his stream just go off? This video has been removed by the uploader? Huh. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Because he doesn't want to give me any more evidence for the case. That's too late. Oh my God. Really? Let's see if it's still up on Rumble. Let's see if he's still live on Rumble, because he's fearing copyright right now. He's fearing going down for 7 days on YouTube for running a watch party with my content. Oh, he's still live on Rumble. Yeah, he's live on Rumble. I'm going to screen record the Rumble. Okay. It's like this guy just keeps on giving me evidence in real time because he can't contain himself emotionally. That's my opinion. So he fears his YouTube channel getting a 7-day penalty. I didn't say I was going to file it. I said I could file it. Maybe I should, but I'm not going to. Like, he didn't think that, I was going to that he didn't think that I knew he was going to rebroadcast me when he said it last night. He's back to doing what he used to do. Let's see here. Let me see here. ODN TV, you gave us good news for Christmas. Absolutely. It's a Christmas gift, huh, ODN? The federal copyright case is the Christmas gift. It's got 12 people on Rumble. I actually screen recorded him removing it from YouTube. I got all the evidence already. All the evidence. The chat is talking smack about us. Oh, they were, but they're on Rumble now, and there's only one person chatting. There's only one person chatting. He's got 12 people there. We've got 32. That doesn't matter. I'm not even counting. Cowardly much? Oh, yeah, baby. I mean, he clearly was fearing that he was going to go down on YouTube, right? Let's continue here, okay? He's implying, okay, remember, question 1 is the use infringing exclusive rights plus fair use defense. Question 2 is the speech protected from government punishment, First Amendment. He's implying that because commentary/criticism is protected speech. It is therefore legally protected from copyright enforcement. That's not how it works, sir. He's implying that because commentary/criticism is protected speech, it is therefore legally protected from copyright enforcement. That's not how it works. They're two separate things. You know that. Come on, you're much smarter than that. Who are you trying to fool? Copyright law is itself a speech balancing system. The speech valve inside copyright is fair use plus limits like idea, expression. Okay? But fair use is not a magic badge that automatically attaches to commentary. It is fact specific. 4-factor analysis and quantity plus market harm can blow it up fast, especially for full-length rebroadcasts watch party style uses. It's a fact-specific 4-factor analysis, and quantity plus market harm can blow it up fast, especially for full-length rebroadcast or rebroadcast/watch party style uses. You run watch parties, sir. That's what you do. You are running a watch party right now on Rumble. And you just got a donation from somebody, and I screen recorded it. I'm going to show that to the copyright judge. You're running a watch party, even though it's... Do you understand that even though... Hold on a second. Hold on. Dawn wants me to unmute. What's up, babe?
I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody, and I hope you have a great New Year.
Dawn says Merry Christmas, and she hopes that you all have a great New Year. Okay, wonderful. We can continue now. Yeah, Rumble, you're not exempt from copyright. I can still sue you federally for the stuff you do on Rumble, for the stuff you do on BitChute, for the stuff you do on Facebook. And, you know, you're doing it on Rumble because you don't want your YouTube channels going down. That's the thing. It doesn't matter. You're still infringing, and now you're basically doing what's called platform evasion. So when he writes fair use exists, so people can comment, criticize without needing permission. You know, I'm paraphrasing, right? That's directionally true in concept, but misleading as a blanket rule, because you cannot comment and still infringe if you take too much, or if the use substitutes for the original, or if it's not genuinely transformative and it's a watch party for hate donations. That's what it is. Let me make sure we're still going through here. All right, back to screen recording him. I went to my YouTube app. It's all good. It is all good. You can comment and still infringe if you take too much, or if the use substitutes for the original, or if it's not genuinely transformative, etc. Without needing permission is not the standard. The standard is whether the use is fair under the factors. The fair use argument he's making is missing the two facts that usually decide these cases. The post avoids the two most dangerous realities for his position: amount, substantiality, factor 3, the amount that you're using. If he's using entire streams or the heart of them, that's the classic you can't hand wave this away problem. Courts often tolerate small excerpts for criticism. Full works demand a very strong transformative justification. What? Talking smack about somebody, defaming them for dollars, creating a smear campaign, inciting donations, commercial exploitation. Market effect 4. Factor 4, if his rebroadcast functions as a replacement viewing experience, watch party, that's exactly the kind of market harm Factor 4 cares about. Lost views, diverted engagement, diverted monetization, audience substitution. Even if you don't sell the content, the market includes ad revenue, channel growth, membership, conversions, etc. His post reads like it was written to persuade an audience, not survive factor by factor scrutiny. That's absolutely right. His post was written to persuade an audience, not survive factor by factor scrutiny. The coercion, intimidation counter narrative is strategic because it tries to reframe you, which is me, as the wrongdoer. This line is the point of the post, okay? And I'm going to paraphrase because he's saying that if I assert my copyright rights, it isn't a free weapon. No one said it is. Threatening strikes and then threatening spoliation, that's not copyright. That's for the civil case. Intimidation and coercion. Oh, okay. Well, if that's what you feel is going on, you can file in both cases. When the second case gets filed, you can file whatever you want to file. And I'm just going to state my case and show my evidence. And that's it. He's trying to build a story that you're abusing process, platform process plus court process, rather than enforcing rights. That does two things. Audience management turns enforcement into censorship. And number two, future-proofing lays groundwork for bad faith abuse arguments later. But the logic is sloppy. DMCA copyright enforcement is about unauthorized copying performance display. Spoliation is about a party destroying evidence when there's a duty to preserve. There's a big difference between the civil case and the federal copyright case. Give me a second. Let me check out the chat real quick. GLM says, praise Jesus. Hey, GLM. I'm not going to read your Jesus quotes or your Bible quotes, but they're all beautiful. Thank you. All right. Those aren't contradictory threats. They're two separate obligations that can coexist. Don't keep unlawfully distributing my work. Don't destroy evidence relevant to the dispute. Those are two different things. They don't coexist. Two different cases. Copyright is in the federal district court. Spoliation of evidence is in the civil circuit case. Do you understand that these are two separate things? And even if you try to get your audience to believe that, people are going to see my stream here and they're going to know that all you're doing is performing and you're running these watch parties, which are putting you right back into another court case. His attempt to paint that as coercion is more of a vibes argument than a legal one, especially when the dispute is clearly in litigation posture, which strengthens preservation duties. I'll keep preserving evidence line is an accidental admission that matters. This sentence is doing quiet work. And I think he was saying that he'll keep preserving the evidence. We're paraphrasing what he put in his community posting. He's positioning himself as a responsible preserver, but look what he's actually telling people in the comments. He told them where his live stream from last night went. When he removed it from YouTube, he had it on Rumble. And never mind, it's on Rumble. Look, it's on Rumble. Check the links, right? That's effectively, I removed it here. Go watch the copy there to basically evade, right? To evade copyright enforcement, which it will be eventually enforced on Rumble. It will be. Trust me on that. They're not working around the Christmas time, but trust me, they will. And by the way, to the Florida lady that works in concert with the defendant, your videos did go down. There's like 9 or 10 of them that I took down through Rumble, 9 of them from DMCAs. And then also, you doxed my brother. That's not a public figure. Okay. Anyway, you lied on that panel last night, ma'am. You lied. Okay. Let's see. Strategically, that undercuts the purity of his I'm just defending speech posture and supports a more commercial substitution narrative. Sir, what you're doing is trying to protect your commercial monetization, your commercial exploitation of my content. You don't care about anything else besides continuing to be able to make donations off my name and likeness, running watch parties, and basically using my content as the substitution of people being able to watch it on my end. He's routing traffic to another platform, copy, and likely monetizing there. He is, because he got a donation, and I screen recorded it, and that's going to go to the federal copyright judge. It looks less like limited excerpt commentary and more like distribution strategy. Absolutely. He's a content thief. And I'm going to come out and say, you're a content thief, sir. I'm going to prove it in court. I already have the proof. Also, his post tries to claim legal sophistication. Courts recognize that. But the thread behavior reads like operational intent. Keep the full content available somewhere and funnel viewers to it. That's what he does. Right? The thread is doing coordinated army framing, and that can matter for the acting in concert context. And then that Florida lady I was mentioning a second ago commented in the comments section, and she was saying that he has like an army behind him and that everyone is fighting along with him against me. All screenshot. This is not legally proof by itself, but it is useful context for coordination, mobilization, acting in concert narratives, especially if paired with timing, repeated reposting, mutual promotion, and cross-platform routing. It is also audience priming. This is war, we're fighters, freedom, etc. That framing tends to correlate with escalation, not compliance. And some other socks made some comments. Let's see. I'm not going to read that part there. From a strategy perspective, these kinds of comments help show the environment being cultivated is not narrow criticism. It is campaign-style hostility where factual claims get thrown around recklessly. Yeah. His post is written like a closing argument, but it contains several exploitable weaknesses. If you strip the emojis, it's basically, we will not be silenced, rights posture. Fair use equals commentary without permission, oversimplified legal claim. And you're abusing copyright plus spoliation threats, motive attack. And I'm preserving evidence, legal system will speak, virtue claim. Remember, it used to say, I'm virtue signaling? It's been a projection all along. He accused me in the past and probably will still accuse me of virtue signaling. But it's him. It's a projection. Let me check out the chat real quick. Give me a second. Weak points. Overstates fair use as near automatic for commentary. No. Fair use is not automatic. You can't just say, I can use as much of anyone's content and just comment, make commentary, and it's fair use. You're going to find out in federal district court. I believe it's the Middle District of Florida. I've already looked it up in the past. I'll look it up again. I believe it's the Middle District of Florida. Oh, also, you cannot file anti-SLAPP in federal copyright court. You can try to file a motion to dismiss if you think that my claim is invalid, but you're going to lose that. So, no anti-SLAPP in copyright court. No anti-SLAPP. Dodges the 4 factors entirely. Do you understand there are 4 factors that the federal court system looks at when deciding if something is fair use. You know that. You've read them. You know I'm right. You know you're wrong, but you're performing for your audience. You're also trying to intimidate me to back off, to make me feel I don't have a case when I have the strongest case ever against you civilly, and now it's going to be in copyright court, federal copyright court. Inconsistent behavior. Remove from one platform, push to another, funnel traffic to avoid being held accountable. That's why we're going to court. What this signals about is intent. The why now. This reads like preemptive justification for continued full use rebroadcast. I couldn't have said it better myself. Preemptive justification for continued full use rebroadcast. That makes him the majority of his money. If he's not doing watch parties, people don't donate nearly as much. That's why even the court system despises watch parties. Other people have sued others for creating watch parties on their content and siphoning engagement and making money and commercially exploiting those creators. Okay? That's not fair use. You'll find out. You can cry all you want to your audience in the meantime, but you'll find out. Narrative inoculation. If I get hit with copyright enforcement, it's censorship coercion. No, because you'll assert your copyrights when people use your content, and then you'll just say that I'm protecting my intellectual property. But when people take you down for violating their copyright, you say, oh, it's censorship. You're violating my freedom of speech. It's coercion. You can't have it both ways, sir. You cannot have it both ways. I wonder if he's actually back on YouTube on a different channel. I bet he is. I bet he went on his other channel. Let's look. This guy is sneaky. He probably went on his other channel. He's back live. He's back live on his other channel. All right. I'm going to flag this. And now we're going to record his YouTube chat again. So we now have him removing the first video off the main channel he uses. He's still circumventing a YouTube ban, remember that? And then he went to Rumble. He wasn't getting the numbers on Rumble, and now he's back on YouTube again. He's trying to throw me off. You're not throwing me off ever, sir. I'm screen recording everything that you're doing, and you're going to have to answer to this in court. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. Give me a second. All right. All right. What a goofball this guy is. Like, honestly, he just does not de-escalate. He does not stop. Yeah, ODN TV says he loves the virtue signal. Yeah, absolutely. That's not dumb. That's audience strategy. The legal argumentation, argumentation is thin, but the PR mechanics are deliberate. Yeah, it's for basically YouTube optics. All right. So that's the first part of the show. I'm done with that. I'm basically continuing to screen record him. I'm going to step away and take a quick break. Let me cue up some royalty-free YouTube music. Then we're going to go over what happened on the stream last night. I'm going to paraphrase a few things, and I'm going to share my thoughts. And, yeah, it's all good. Let me see here. Let me see here. Do. All right, music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for about a 5, 6, 7 minute break or so. And when we return, we're going to go over more of what happened last night. And probably going to last another maybe 40, 45 minutes at the most, maybe 30. Maybe we'll get through it in 30. And then it's off to dinner with the family. So stick around. We'll be right All right. We're back. We are back live, and we are just going to scratch it and get right back down to business. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. Hope you're enjoying this day. We're going to get right to it because I'm limited on time. I only have another maybe 32 minutes to go through this. I want to mention that the defendant in my circuit civil case that is also now going to be sued in a federal district copyright court by, I'd probably say, March, April, maybe May at the latest of this coming year in 2026. And it's going to be around the same time as the motion to dismiss / anti-SLAPP hearing for the circuit civil case. It's going to be a very, very interesting time where I'm hoping that finally I may be able to get some relief from all of this, unlawful craziness that I've been just dealing with, and just be able to run my organization without this harassment, defamation, content theft, and all of that. But anyway, before I get to this next part where I'm going to basically paraphrase some things he said on his live stream yesterday, he's talking again, and the guy is talking mad smack about my wonderful, amazing, lovely lady Dawn. And here's the thing, sir. Talk about Dawn all you want. Talk about me all you want. We don't care how much you talk about us. We care about when you defame us, you make false statements as facts to your audience to give them that shock factor to incite donations. We care about you violating our intellectual property, our copyrights, running these watch parties. That's all you do. All you do is you run watch parties. Watch parties are what make you feel powerful. They make you feel important. You can enrage an audience emotionally with the content you prevent and incite donations off of this. That's commercial exploitation. And you just keep going and going and going and going, and you keep giving me more evidence. I'm literally screen recording this. I have all of this. What do you think a judge is going to say about this, right? All I've done and ODN's done and other people have done is just try to defend themselves against your extremely erratic behavior. Like this behavior, the defendant's behavior, I don't even know what to say about it anymore. And put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly, because I cannot, right now, I do not want to interrupt screen recording him to make sure that everything is going through. Actually, you know what? Let me mute for a second. All right. Put 2 1s in the chat if you can hear me right now, because I'm back. I just heard me on his stream. I don't want to project his stream on mine, even though it's my content. I wouldn't want the guy trying anything funny there. This is beyond commentary, sir. This is about, commercial exploitation, harassment, defamation. It's a whole lot more, and you're trying to use all these magic shields like fair use, and you're trying to add fair use along with free speech, and those are 2 totally different things. And you're just trying to make it sound like it makes sense to your audience. And you've been given so many chances to just walk away and not have to deal with this. And all that's going to happen now is get you sued again, because you are exploiting the gap of what I can sue you for and protect myself from in the circuit civil case. You're exploiting the copyright aspect, so we have to go to federal court. ODN, you were right all along, and I give you the most credit in the world for this. I give you the most credit in the world for this. Double 1s, thank you. Now, let me respond to what I heard him say while I was on break. You're talking about do I need to prove damages for injunctive relief regarding your watch parties on YouTube? Not necessarily. In a federal copyright case, you do not have to prove monetary damages to be eligible for an injunction. What you generally must prove for injunction relief is likelihood of success on the merits. You own, hold exclusive rights. The watch party likely infringes, example, reproduces, publicly performs, displays more than a fair use amount. Yeah, he's displaying the whole thing. It's the whole damn thing, right? He's even got now 28 people on Rumble, and that's why I'm screen recording it. This is evidence in real time being recorded. Irreparable harm that can't be fixed just by money. It's reputational harm too, which is why we're in the circuit civil case, right? And it is affecting me. It is affecting me from being able to properly run my business and properly run my YouTube channels, right? Balance of equities favors you. Public interest favors an injunction. Where damages still matter but aren't required. Even though you don't need to prove a dollar amount of damages, courts will look for real harm such as loss of control over your work, audience diversion, substitution, people watch it there instead of yours. Right. Do you understand this, dude? This is not about your speech. This is about abusing my content, making my content your content. You don't own my content. You can do fair use using small excerpts, not full watch parties like you're doing. Market harm, I already read that. Market harm, especially if it's the full stream or near full and monetized. Absolutely. He incites donations. He reads them off. He has tickers, right? Repeat behavior, likelihood it will continue 2 days in a row now, and lots of it over the last 2 years. Or actually, copyright's 3 years. Lots of it over the last 3 years. Oh my gosh, I have so much evidence. Practical in your watch party scenario. For a watch party that rebroadcasts the full live stream or most of it and is monetized, you typically argue irreparable harm by showing it is a substitute for the original. It harms the market for your stream, replays, clicks. Let me see right now. So over on my end, we have 31, and he has 26 on Rumble. He had over 40 or 50 on YouTube. So, and I have that screen recorded with the chat, with the amount of people there as it was happening live. Real-time proof for the federal district copyright court judge. Ooh, wow. Wow. Let's see here. Let's see. It's a substitute for the original. It harms the market for your stream, replays, clips. Absolutely. It's ongoing or likely to recur. He's been doing it for years. And over the last 3 years, he's done it many times. And he's doing it again right now, starting yesterday. He started back up. So injunction, no, you don't need to prove damages, but you do need to show irreparable harm. Plus the other factors, and market substitution harm is often the cleanest way to do that. No problem. All right, let's get back to this. His stream last night. So the beginning of his stream, he talked about a bunch of things. He was talking about my lady again, and we'll get to that because he did it again last night. We already went over what he just said on his Rumble version of his stream right now. He's saying that his audience has already helped reach $200 of the $300 goal. It's the night before Christmas, and he said that he can't stop grifting. He is shameless. And then he said, what a shameless effing J word. I'm not going to say what the J word is, but it is a protected class. And I'm not sure if that's what his culture is. But I think he just says that to get attention, in my opinion. Let's see. And then he says that, he's going to do some commentary and criticism and parody. And all of that is going to be within the boundaries of fair use. And then he says if someone wants to bring this to court, so if I want to bring this to court, And that's why I'm bringing it to court. Thank you for suggesting that. I already had that in mind anyway. And then argue that he's not using it in fair use commentary ways, then I'm free to do so. He keeps saying, feel free to take him to court, and then we'll just hash it out there. He just says for me to pay the filing fee, make sure that my shit's in order, and then we'll deal with it there. So that sounds great to me. So you're looking forward to the copyright case in federal district court in the Middle District of Florida. Okay. Otherwise, he's saying STFU. You know what STFU is, right? Okay. It's fair use. No, it's not. And then he says that there are many laws protecting the freedom of speech. Of course. But this is copyright. This is not about freedom of speech. Freedom of speech, we're dealing with that in the civil matter, which I have hardcore proof of defamation, right? This is copyright, sir. A completely different case in a federal copyright court that has jurisdiction over this situation and the place where you, sir, cannot opt out from. Okay. Oh, let's see. Let's see. So, yeah, there are many laws, he says, to this extent that many laws protecting the freedom of speech. It's protected speech, criticism, using copyrighted content. He can use it, as much as he wants, like he says. Again, what he's doing is called a watch party. And he's using the entire stream, especially while it's live. Even if it wasn't live, if he used the entire content, or even if he made shows entirely about me using multiple pieces of content of mine to basically make it another watch party. Courts are, federal copyright courts are severely against that. Okay, and then he's saying that the podcast stream that Don and I did, Don and Eli Take on the World podcast, episode number 40. It's available on the other channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. Go below in the description. You'll see a link to that channel. He's saying that, he didn't do the things that ODN was saying that he did. Okay. And I'm not here to speak for ODN. ODN's his own entity. Okay. He was saying it had something to do with putting up the pedo flyers about me that happened 5-6 years ago? It was 5-6 years ago. And we all initially thought it was a defendant, but it ended up being some guy named, his YouTube username was W Computer Shop. Okay. And, he basically put it all over Craigslist. And he said the defendant, and listen very carefully on your Rumble rebroadcast, sir, because you just gave me proof I'm going to just go to the circuit civil case on. He says the only thing that he ever did was put a Craigslist ad out that W Computer Shop put out where everyone saw it. And then he took a screenshot of it and posted it on his community wall. And that was it. Sir, that's called republication of a false allegation, of a false statement as fact. You basically shared something knowing that I am not a pedo. You shared something on your community wall because you knew that your audience would react to it. And even members of your audience back then were calling me that. So you knew exactly what you did. You republished it. I screenshot it back then. I have the evidence. I've already submitted it in my second amended complaint in one of my 47 exhibits for Judge Stacy to see. And now we can refer back to your stream from last night with the transcript and the actual words coming out of your mouth that you took a screenshot of it and you republished it on your YouTube community wall, sir. Thank you for sharing that. Much appreciated. Yeah, you didn't make it. We thought you made it because you're a graphics designer. I mean, that was a fair assumption that anyone would have made. But we corrected the record back then when we found out that it was W Computer Shop that made it. You still screenshot it. You still republished it. You played it on live streams. You kept on putting it out there. You kept on trying to paint me as that. You tried to do it as a joke, but it's not a joke. That is not a joking matter. You tried to, as a joke, make a threat against Granny's Watching Jess, and she got a restraining order on you, and then you appealed that restraining order with an attorney, and you still lost the appeal. You can't sit there and call people, the P word, and you can't sit there and put out things that make them look like a criminal and then say it's parody. Parody is not a magic shield that you will soon find out. It's not defamatory or slanderous, sir, because we corrected the record back then. We basically thought it was you. We assumed it was you. But we never, we corrected the record, and when we figured out it was W Computer Shop, and then you shared it on your community wall. And you admitted that on your stream last night. And then he's saying that I just let that happen on my stream, so he documented it, and then he submitted a filing to the court. Yada, yada, yada. We talked about that yesterday, okay? On the other stream from yesterday. We don't have to go into that. He wants to make sure that the judge sees this because he's saying that I'm not going to take him to court and accuse him of doing inappropriate things, with a younger person. Okay, I didn't accuse you of that. I didn't accuse you of any of that, but you were associated with someone of that. And I'm being very careful with what I say because you spin things out of context, right? And we have you on video, still publicly available on your BitChute channel, saying that you tried to get that person, the younger person, and an older manic schizophrenic person, okay, to go over to a channel called Manosphere T-Spill and tell them that I'm a pedo. You did that. That's also been submitted to the court. Even though it's beyond the statute of limitations, it is allowed to be submitted to show a pattern, okay, which will further prove what is actionable over the last 2 years within the statute of limitations for defamation of character. Let me check out the chat real quick. Can you folks still hear me? Put one in the chat if you can hear me, if we're good. He's got 37 on Rumble right now. We have 27. For the record, let the record show that I'm screen recording him live on Rumble. He went on YouTube and has been simulcasting on Rumble all along, continuously. He deleted his first YouTube stream. Then I went to Rumble. Then I came back. He came back to YouTube and then deleted that. I wonder if he's back on YouTube again. Let's see if he's going to be back on YouTube again. Let's see. No, because he's got all his people over there on Rumble. Fantastic. All right. So let me see here. So he's saying, I feel free to download it. Yeah, I download everything. You know that. Let's see. He says to try to use it against him in court. He doesn't care. And he keeps saying it's going to help his anti-slap every time that I file his words as part of my case. What else can you file in a defamation case? It's all about words. I don't understand, sir. Sir, if you defame people even on YouTube, those are defamatory words. So I'm going to file your defamatory words. Like, honestly, do you think like you're immune from the law? Do you think that you have defamation immunity? Do you think that you have copyright immunity with blanket fair use to use every single person's piece of content as long as you keep talking? You can do watch parties all day, every day, simulcasting creators' works. Oh, and by the way, I found out that people that rebroadcast like the government stuff, like the presidential speeches and stuff, the reason why they don't get taken down for copyright is because everyone has a common a Creative Commons license for that. So that's available for anyone to use. But you cannot do that to a private party, right? You cannot do that to a business or a private party. Okay? So I just wanted to put that out there in case he tries to spin something. There's a big difference between, Creative Commons within the government and, private parties and businesses that can and should and will assert their copyrights. Okay. And then he says I'm kind of slow, like my friend ODN that he likes to refer to as slow. And then he talks about my lady Dawn. And she heard Dawn say on the podcast that he belongs in jail. That was her opinion, sir. That was sarcasm. That was a joke. That was maybe insulting, but that's not defamatory. She stated an opinion that she feels that you belong in jail if she could have it her way. How many times have you said, if you could have it your way with me, that I would leave YouTube or I would stop doing personal development or coaching content? You're contradicting your own words, sir. You are. Seriously, in my opinion, you are, like falling apart at the scene in real time. Like in real time, you're scrambling in real time to keep this going. And then you say, in jail for what? For making memes, a few memes. You've made a ton of memes, and they've all been either you make them or you share them. Half of them you made, the others people have made for you. You've republished them on your live streams. Remember the January 3rd, 2025 live stream that you failed to share with your audience after you tried to make December of 2024 the content I put in there when I was trying to de-escalate and be nice to you? You tried to say, hey, Eli's being so nice to me, and then now he's suing me. Well, you didn't tell your audience. Maybe some of them remember, maybe some of them don't. You didn't remind them what happened January 3rd with the burial of Eli. And you brought all those people along. You showed all those disgusting memes that were sexualized, right? Making a few memes and doing some commentary. And you're telling her that it was on me, and you basically told her that I'm a shitty boyfriend. And then you said that I've exploited her past on YouTube, and you didn't exploit it. Oh, you did. You commercially monetized my members only streams. I have those copies, and those are still within the statute of limitations to be used against you in the copyright court, sir. You did exploit it, sir. You commercially exploited it, right? Because you saw it as entertainment, cringy entertainment content. Okay? First of all, Dawn, put in the chat if you feel I exploited you. Put in the chat if you feel I exploited you. She'll answer that. There was no exploitation. We now do the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. How in the world, sir, did I exploit my own lady? I helped her, and everything I said back then was completely true. Everything I said back then was completely true. Give me a second here. I'm looking at the cameras here. Oh, we're good. Let's see. And you didn't go real life You were never you never got your hands dirty, but you were involved with people that did go real life, and you exploited that for content, such as the PT Cruiser thing, that I still firmly believe is Mr. Ka. And then Mrs. Ka came by and took a picture of me as I was driving, or she was driving, and I was on my walking stream at Red Morton years ago, right? But I'm not blaming you for that. If Mr. and Mrs. Ka want to sue me, they're going to have to sue me under their real name, right? So they can take that up with me if they think there's a problem with that. But all you ever did was, you got with all these people started doing things for you, and then you would exploit it for commercial monetization. That's all you've done. That's everything you've done. That's truth of the matter. No lie, no defamation, no nothing. So every time that he's saying that we point our fingers in his direction, we're basically defaming his character. See, he's trying to flip it. Now, sir, no one's defaming your character, sir. Sir, you have commercially exploited the shit out of people out here on this platform for years. And you've done some pretty disgusting things, in my opinion. I'm not going to mention what they are. I'm just blanketly stating that you've done some pretty disgusting things. I've said a few things that may come off as disgusting, but I never meant any harm. I said a few things I didn't mean many years ago about some stereotypical remarks. I apologize for them. I've done nothing like that since. Okay? Nothing compared to the stuff that you've done for content, sir. And I have proof of that. He's saying it was lots of defamation and I ruined my own reputation. But again, he's saying that, Dawn says that he belongs in jail. And then he criticizes my lady on DUIs. And don't you have like abuse charges and stuff like that? Yeah, she's already talked about that. We talked about that today. There's 2 DUIs, okay? And one of them was not really a DUI. It was medication related. But it doesn't matter. The abuse charges, it was her boyfriend at the time that beat her, but because her child reported her, the cops arrested her. She had a public defender, and the public defender told her to plead no contest. She should have plead not guilty, but she pled no contest, got community service, and that was that. So here's the thing. There's no shame. People make mistakes. You make mistakes, sir. Half your audience probably, in my opinion, has some kind of record. I'm not accusing them of anything. I'm just saying, I'm sure half your audience has done stuff far worse. Okay? You've done some pretty bad things, sir, in my opinion, and you just haven't been caught, right? And now you're being held accountable. You got a restraining order on you by Granny's Watching Jess almost a couple of years ago, or around a couple of years ago. And now you're in civil court with me and about to be in copyright court. So now it's all starting to catch up, right? Right? Just because you haven't been, caught or accused of anything doesn't mean you haven't done anything. We've all made mistakes. And it seems like for you, sir, that you're the only one that's allowed to make mistakes and get away with it. Other people that make mistakes, you make it your life story to ridicule them and commercially exploit them on YouTube. That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. And then he says, if anyone belongs in jail between him and my lady, it would be her, because he says she's actually shown that she's violent. How has she shown that she's violent? She's never beat me. You've never seen her beat me on camera. I've never beat her. No one's beat anyone. You're now speculating. Now you're making accusations, right? But we're not sitting here even saying that is defamatory. Where's your proof that she's violent? And then you accuse her saying that she has a reckless disregard. You learned that word from the court case because I've been using it, saying that you have a reckless disregard, sir, for the truth. And you say she has a reckless disregard for people's lives on the road. No, she does not. She does not. She's never hurt anyone. And then you basically told my woman that she has wet brain from years of drinking alcohol. And then you basically said she's too sloshed, permanently sloshed, to understand what's happening and have a cogent opinion on anything. That's pretty messed up, dude. But when people talk about your lady, you go crazy. Us, sir, we're laughing in your face. And we're saying that you are a very hurt and scorned man. You are a very, very hurt man, in my opinion, deep within, sir. You are really struggling. Like, you have a lot of anger monkeys deep within. You always have to be in control. And when you start losing control because people start holding you accountable for once in your life, in my opinion, then you have a temper tantrum, like a little baby. You said you can always respond back if that's, what she'd like, right? You then basically antagonized her, that she knows she wants to start a fight, or that that she wants to start a fight with you. And then you said that you could start one right back. And then you basically said for her to sue you, see if you give a shit. You don't, sir. That's the problem. You don't give a shit. You don't care about anyone besides yourself, and you're spiraling out of control in real time. During the holiday season, on Christmas week, you started back up again. And here I am on Christmas Day, basically putting out a gift of federal copyright court coming soon. And then you said that, you were talking about the fact that she had a doctor or a therapist who mentioned that these people on YouTube are beyond help. Or her doctor's right. In my opinion, sir, you are beyond help. In my opinion, your entire group of people is beyond help. Right? It's just a very, very, in my opinion, a very a hurt group of people. A very scarred group of people, in my opinion. Like, there's just a bunch of issues, because seeing the way you all behave, including you, sir, is unusual to me. It's just unusual in general. Paul Tires in the Rain, I would say setting you up as the P word was going real life. Odian says he is following you and me like he is. Obsessed broski. He's recording our chat messages right now. He's looking into a crystal ball. Well, I mean, he can record whatever he wants. I'm screen recording his whole shenanigans today. He's got 44 people on Rumble right now. We've got 30 here. He wants you to be quiet while he uses your content, bro. He is a hypocrite. He sets people up based on his projections. Right. Oh, he's a massive projector. He accuses people of the exact same things he does. Right? When people call him out on what he's doing, he projects that back onto them. It's a pure projection. And now, we're getting towards the end here. We are at 1 hour and 32 minutes. I really got to go in a few. And then he was saying that he filed on my minions yesterday that left him threatening comments on his videos. And he says that they were saying that he plays victim. You do play the victim, sir. And then you victim shame other people that are actual real victims. I'm a victim of everything you've done to me. Right? Right? It's ironic. It's ironic. You play the role of the victim, then you victim shame the people that are your victims. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. He victim shames people that he victimizes, right? It's like a double standard, a double negative. It's a contradicting thing. He is a big contradictor. And that's why, like, we have to go to federal court, and we are, because this stuff is not going to stop. Like, he's here on, he doesn't get it. I'm screen recording this. I've got all the evidence. He's going to have to answer to this. He knows there are 4 factors of fair use. He knows he's running a watch party. He knows he's not protected. He just never thought that he would actually get sued, not only in a full-blown circuit civil case, but a federal copyright case. And the federal copyright case is going to be easier than the circuit civil case. Mark my words. And by the time I get that copyright certificate, in about 3 or 4 months, I will already have the complaint ready to go, and boom, it'll be filed. It'll be filed. So he says he put another strike on his channel. What strike did he put on? ODN or someone else? Did the defendant strike any one of you? And then he says that I was getting in my walking stream, and I was doing that before going out and doing some last minute shopping. That's not what I was doing. And then he was saying, that who's going to be drunk, and he was saying it's Dawn, and he said that she's probably already drunk, and he said probably why she isn't chatting. He said she's already sloshed, effing passed out. She was not sloshed. She doesn't drink anymore. She been clean and sober for over a year. And you have people in your group that have alcohol issues. You, sir, were drunk last night on your stream. Okay? And so you can't sit there and say something about that when you yourself have had many streams where you drank a lot and acted just as erratically as you did last night. And then he says that she did her quote and didn't say very much. She can say whatever she wants, and she can stay quiet when she wants. Why are you watching her every move? Why are you so intricate in this whole thing? Because this is all you've got? Like, you can't let it go. You can't let it go. And I'm telling you, sir, here's the thing. In my opinion, you're losing the optics war on YouTube, and you're also going to be losing these cases. You are. You think that you're going to be winning these cases. I'm very confident, and I can express my confidence. Now, you never know, but come on. Come on. And then he calls my lady effing stupid. And then he says that she deserves everything that's coming from me. So, sir, what's coming from me? What am I going to do to Dawn? I'm going to spend the rest of my life with her. And we're going to continue enjoying life in the ways that we already do. Sir, it kind of sounds like to me like you're projecting. Like, you have an internet girlfriend that you've met up with one time, and then you guys have said this. You guys watch movies over the internet. Dawn and I live together. We've been living together for over 3 years. So I just don't get it. And then he said, not from him, it's going to be coming from me. Oh, you were very clear that it's not going to come from you. Of course. Of course, you put the blame on me for everything, right? And then the Florida lady, just says, and then some. And then to wrap this up, he says that when I dump Dawn, he said, dumps your ass. He says it's going to be hilarious. and he's going to laugh for good, or for a good 72 hours or so. Well, first of all, sir, that's not going to happen. So what's the point of you having this irrational, erratic tirade on YouTube last night? Did you do it on purpose? Did you just go and drink so you can act irrational because people are paying you money to act irrational? You still used my content. You're not going to flip it on me and say that I said you got paid for acting irrational. No, sir. It doesn't matter, what you got paid for. What matters is that you played almost my entire stream as it was happening live, and you were getting paid while that was playing. And that was 70% of your content last night. Was 70% of your entire piece of content was rebroadcasting my content. That's not fair use, sir. That's not. You basically substituted the original. That's what you did. Anyway, that's it. Federal court is coming soon. And it is going to happen. The more and more he keeps rebroadcasting me, the more and more I will preserve the evidence, the more I will use against him in federal court. Eventually, he will be forced to stop. No one's silencing his speech. Let me make it clear. This is not about freedom of speech. The more and more that the defendant in my circuit civil case continues to try to flex freedom of speech or fair use and try to intertwine the two, which they don't. They're two separate things. The more and more we're going to laugh over here. And then when we end up going to court for both cases, the current circuit civil case and then the upcoming federal copyright court case, he's going to see. He's going to have to answer to the judge. And the judges are not YouTube. The judges are the court of law. And the court of law is final. Merry Christmas to all. And please enjoy the rest of this day. And I'll be back tomorrow for another walk at some point. With that being said, have a good one. Oh, ODN says. Dude's been using your content for a long time. He is bragging about how he can do it. It's bizarre. That's why we're going to federal copyright court, ODN. We're going to federal copyright court, right, broski? Have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other. See you all tomorrow. Good night, everyone.